So, there was once a young boy who was a little different from the rest of the people he was around. He was caring and wanted to help out wherever he could. And every day he would look for opportunities to help his mom out. And every day he would help clean up the house by cleaning up the tables, the floors, and sometimes when he was really young, trying his best to be the gunslinger of disinfectants by spraying everything in the house. Now, even though he was a source of some of the germs and disgusting mess, he would help clean up. When the boy was about 4 years old, his family moved into his new house where they had a giant dirt pile in the backyard that he played on every day. And every day he would need a bath after coming into the house completely covered in dirt or drenched from using the hose. Now, as this adventurous boy grew in size, he continued to try his best to do as he was told. And while he was doing this, he noticed that many people who did as they were told didn't love their life. They lived life in unhappy spirals that, should they continue, would end in depression. He also always wondered, why didn't they just go out and play? Why did they complain instead of taking action? As you may have guessed, that little boy is me. As I have grown, I've continued to observe and wonder what causes people to stay stuck and not progress towards personal growth. I always wondered this until one day my family and I read this book called The Power of Ted. In this book, I learned that everyone has the incredible power to create a fulfilling life that they love. The idea that every human could do this felt like a hidden superpower. A magical hack to turn any life, good or bad, into a life that was even better, one that was alive and thriving. Now, this hack is a little bit more simple than people might think. It's the ability to change your mindset from that of being a victim to being a creator, the creator of your own life. Because of this incredible idea, I started seeing a change in my life. I looked at things with a brand new perspective. I wanted to learn as much as I could from every experience I had. Instead of saying I had to do something or I have to, I'd say I get to do something. Because of that, I looked at everything like it was a learning experience. From the games I played and the books I read, they only had interest to me if I could learn something from it. Though, admittedly, I still failed at times, I would get back up, brush off the dust, and keep moving forward. I was determined to grow no matter what. Finally, as I was pondering and praying one day, it hit me. I realized the reason why people spiraled down into these depressive states. It was because they had a victim mindset. They hadn't yet learned how to use the power of their mindset. Though I realize now that it wasn't the things people did when they did as they were told, but it was their perspective on it, how they acted on it. Now, imagine this. A world where teens talk about how they love their school. They share their hopes and their dreams, and they love their lives. A world where they support one another with positive mindsets and are truly happy and looking forward to a future that they will soon create. It sounds like a utopia, doesn't it? A little too good to be true. But the key to creating this isn't that far away. What if it was really as simple as equipping teens with the powers and ideas from the book, The Power of Ted? What if the teens were aware of their victim mindsets and knew how to shift from a victim mindset to a creator's mindset? In order to do this, we'll need a way for teens worldwide, not just here in Texas or in Acton Academy, to learn about the victim mindset and the creator mindset. To do this, we'll need a force of young and passionate victim mindset squashers. Now, this would require some specialized training beyond reading the book, The Power of Ted. I know I can get this done because I've been studying the creator mindset for the past 4 years and have been working with my family and peers to overcome the victim mindset and become creators. I've been studying public speaking, psychology, business, and am passionate about making a real difference for the world of teens. I've also been collaborating with a friend at school to create a podcasting room so we can begin to gather and share these creator mindset stories. I've also interviewed the writer of the book, The Power of Ted, David Emerald. I did this so then I could understand more about the mindsets and roles taught in The Power of Ted. I bet you're wondering, how does this actually work? What does TED stand for? I'm glad you asked. For this, the concepts are truly simple, but it can take a lot of personal practice and a true desire to want a better life. There are two mindsets. The first is the dreaded drama triangle, or DDT. The DDT is a story that is told almost always in fairy tales, books, and movies. Think of Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, where there's the damsel in distress, who's the victim, is being held captive or is under a spell by a villain. The villain, in turn, is a persecutor. Then there's a handsome Prince Charming who comes and saves the day. He's, of course, the rescuer. Now, this style is great for entertainment and fun, but in reality, it is toxic and could lead people into a more drama-filled life. That is, if they're expecting life to be as grand as a movie. Now, at the end of each of these stories, they say, and they all lived happily ever after. Except they don't actually get to live happily ever after if they don't change the story. Because they are stuck in this toxic drama triangle, they don't get to leave. Unless they decide to change their mindset into an empowered mindset. When the poor princess chooses to no longer helplessly wait around to be rescued, the empowerment dynamic can then take over. When the victim becomes a creator of their reality and understands that they have the power to act, that is when the empowerment dynamic can take over. Now, of course, I have another example for the empowerment dynamic, so it's not just one-sided. My favorite is Tangled. With the empowerment dynamic, Mother Gothel, who's the traditional villain, no longer has power over Rapunzel, but instead serves as a challenger, whose setbacks only make the creator stronger in the end. Now, of course, Rapunzel is being held captive in her tower and wants to leave. And so, she creates this reality where she is no longer trapped. Along the way, she meets a coach and ally, who is very handsome, I might add, who's Flynn Rider. In the drama triangle, he would have been the rescuer or the persecutor, but instead, he was a coach, and a very good one at that. This version follows the empowerment dynamic. Now, I know this is a lot to take in such a short amount of time. I would like to restate the power this has to change lives. It has changed my life and so many others. I am committed and passionate about bringing these concepts and more tools about how to practice this life to make it better. But I need your help. I stand before you today seeking your support in order to fulfill my mission in empowering teens to create a life they love and are passionate about. In order to do this, I'll need to hone my skills in sharing these concepts like a coach, coaching them to use these in real-life situations. In order to do this, I need to become an Empowerment Dynamic certified coach. In order to do this, I will prove my seriousness to you by requesting an initial donation to cover the cost of the Foundations course, which is $1,450. This is, of course, to the NGA board. Once I complete this, I would like your support to complete the Advanced course, which is $1,945. The final step after this will be to pay for the final level in certification. In return for your help, I promise to complete the Foundations course in full by December 10th of this year, as it starts in the fall. I promise to apply to the TED Foundations program by June 15th, and promise to complete at least 2 Overcoming Victimhood podcast interviews by May 24th, my graduation day. I also promise to pay it forward by sharing my Empowerment Dynamic presentations for free at all Acton academies across the world in order to refine it and make the best I can make it. I'll also be taking their feedback seriously and incorporating it into my presentations. Then I can share this knowledge with not just the Acton heroes, but also teens all around the world to help them become the best world changers ever. In closing, I'm grateful to all who have supported me along this journey. As I move forward, I'll make one final promise: to have a creator's mindset in all parts of my life. By doing so, I will inspire future generations with the courage to embrace their inherent potential, ensuring that they will never, ever Stay in the mindset of a victim. Now, the leadership coach, Simon Sinek, says, "We are not the victims of our situations. We are the architects of it." So, let us embark on this journey together. Together, we can coach the adults in training, or the teens, empowering them to become the creators and architects of their own situations to change the world for the better. Thank you.